Hello friends, dear students, good morning all. Today we are going to learn about the marketing management, under which the particular chapter pricing strategies. Last time we have discussed about the different steps of setting price, under which we have discussed about the 4 steps of the setting price. Today we are going to discuss about the 5th step of setting price. It is related to the selecting a pricing method. So there are number of different pricing methods available, out of which we need to follow any one of them. So pricing methods available are markup, target return, perceived value, then value, going rate, and auction type. First, we are going to discuss about the markup pricing method. So in our example is variable cost per toaster is $10, fixed cost $3 lakh, and expected unit sales is 50,000. So unit cost is equal to variable cost plus fixed cost upon units sales. So here the variable cost is $10 plus fixed cost is $3 lakh upon unit sales is 50,000. So is equal to $10 plus $3 lakh divided by 50,000 is equal to 6. So $10 plus 6 is equal to 16. So unit cost in our example is 16. Markup price is equal to unit cost upon 1 minus desired return on sales. So here in our example our desired return is 20%. So we just put the value as per this formula is $16 in place of unit cost upon 1 minus desired on sales is equal to 1 minus 0.2. So it is equal to $20, means $16 divided by 0.8 is equal to $20. So by this way we can able to set the price with using markup pricing. I think you have got it. Then next method is target return pricing. So target return price is equal to unit cost plus desired return multiplied by invested capital upon unit sales. So we continue with the same example, and here also the unit cost is equal to $16 plus desired return is 20%. So it is 0.20 multiplied by invested capitals. It includes the fixed cost plus variable cost. So it is $10 lakh upon 50,000. So we can get $20. $16 plus $2 lakh divided by 50,000. So $16 plus 4 is equal to $20. So by this way we can set the price using target return pricing. I think you have got it. Target return pricing, we can see the target return pricing by this figure also, that here we see that sales volume units and the dollars in thousands, and what we see particularly that break even point. Break even point here is at the 30,000 units. It means that to survive ourselves we need to at least sell 30,000 units so that we can survive ourselves. So we continue with our example, and we are selling the 50,000 units. So what actually the target profit is here, the gap of curly bracket, as we see in this figure, that target profit is difference between the total revenue and total cost. It means that target profit is equal to total revenue minus total cost at the 50,000 units. So at the 50,000 units, what will be the total revenue minus what is total cost is our target profit. So we can get easily the clear idea about the target profit using this figure. Next is perceived value pricing. So consumers or customers perceived value. As we know that the customers perceived value is what customers perceive at the time of using the products. So what they find that these features are got or perceived by us, what value they matter particularly. So customers perceived value is depend on the various features of the products. It may include the performance, warranty, customer support and reputation, like this. So different values which is perceived by the customers, and accordingly we can able to set the price. So if the performance of the product is high, then accordingly we can set the price on the basis of that particular performance which is actually performed at the time of using product. Then warranty, then the customer support and reputation. So by this way we can able to set the price on the basis of perceived value. So if the perceived value is high, then we can able to set high price than that of. However, the same type of product is provided by the competitors, but the perceived value of those products is low with compared to the perceived value of our products, means our branded products. So perceived value pricing, by this way we can set the price. Then value pricing. Here we see that we can maintain the value of the product, particularly quality of the product, and reducing the cost. At the same time we are not sacrificing the value, but we are providing the same type of quality of the products which are desired by the market. So by this way we can reduce the cost and also reduce the prices. So we are providing the same type of quality products at the reduced price to the customers. So we discuss about it in detail that value pricing is not just setting the lower prices. Value prices, it doesn't mean that we can set the lower prices. It is matter of re-engineering the company's operations to become a low cost producers without sacrificing the quality. So it is one type of what we can say use of experts or particularly re-engineering or technically upgrade our products in such a way that we are maintaining the quality and reducing our cost per unit. So as shown in the graph, the company reduces the cost from C1 to C2 while maintaining the same level of quality. So prices are reduced, giving buyers a greater value. At the same time we are providing the same or greater value and charge the lower prices from our customers. EDLP, retailers that maintains an everyday low price policy, charges a constant price with little or no promotions and special sales. We have seen in many stores that everyday low price is available there, so they cannot sell special means do the special efforts to sell their products, but charge the same price at the every day of week. Consistent prices eliminates week to week price uncertainty. So if uncertainty is there, it means that we are charging the different price at the different days, then it is uncertain for the consumers that where the low price of the product is there. Instead of that, most of the stores can follow the EDLP, means everyday low price. It means that they can charge the consistent price and not reducing or increasing the prices without any reasons, means with the using of any sales promotion or special sales like this. So retailers adopt an EDLP is that constant sales and the promotions are costly and have eroded consumer confidence in everyday sale prices. Next is going rate pricing. It is about the follow the leader. It means that what is the price change made by the leader, accordingly we need to make the changes in our products. So going rate pricing is popular for commodities such as steel, paper and fertilizer, as all firms normally charge the same price. So for such type of products, what particularly we have seen in our example is steel, paper and fertilizer. Generally prices of however the different branded products are available under these categories, but the prices charged by the different company is almost same. Small firms follow the leader. So at the same time, small firms follow the leader. It means that what if the leader increases the price, then the small firms can increase the price, and vice versa is also true. Changing prices when the market leader price change. So when the market leader change the price, at the same time only the followers, means the other small firms, can change the price. Then next is auction price. So auction price is nothing but what we have seen many times. Auction, it means particularly in Gujarati it is called haraji. So in English auction, exceeding bids are there. In Dutch auction, descending bids are there. And selected bid auction is also the third method available under the auction pricing, means at the time of setting the price with the method of auction pricing. So we just see the difference between the English auction, Dutch auctions, different among the English auction, Dutch auctions and selected bid auctions. So auction type pricing is growing more popular in the electronic marketplaces. English auction have one seller and many buyers. For example, eBay, Amazon.com, like this. So these are type of what particularly you can say electronic marketplaces, means under the e-commerce. The English auctions exceeding bids are followed, under which we see that there is one seller and many buyers. Dutch auctions means descending bids. It is generally considered as the descending bids. Here why it is said that it feature one seller and many buyers, and auctioneers announces a high price for a product and then slowly decreases the price until a bidder accepts. So here what particular buyers are many, but the seller is one. So the auctioneer announces a high price and the buyers can reduce and buy at what particular price the buyer can purchase the products. So this is what at the initial stage the price is high and it is decreased at that level. So from available buyers one can accept it, that at particular price any one buyer is ready to buy the products. So or one buyer and many sellers. So the buyer announces the something he or she wants to buy. Here what buyers announces something about them, what he or she wants to buy, and potential sellers compete to offer the lowest price. Here the example is premarkets.com. So here we see that if in particular situation where the one seller and many buyers are there, or one buyer and many sellers are there, in such type of situation the Dutch auctions means descending bids method is followed. Then sealed bid auctions, third method of the auction pricing method. Sealed bid auctions would be suppliers submit only one bid, they cannot know the other bids. So here what particularly suppliers can submit the bid, means gives the price that this is what our price is for particular product, but they are not knowing the prices of the other suppliers. So the US government often uses this method to procure the suppliers. So particular type of supplies for availing the particular type of supplies, US government follows this type of auction pricing method, means sealed bid auction. I think you have got a clear concept about this. The next is selecting the final price. Means sixth step of pricing, sixth step of setting prices is final price. Selecting the final price. In selecting the final price, firms must consider the factors including the impact of other marketing activities. It means that we can, however, with whatever particular what you can say margin of profit, but at the same time by to get such type of margin, we need to also consider the other marketing activities. Company pricing policies, we also require to consider the thing that is the what is the pricing policy of company. Gain and risk sharing pricing, it means that if we set a particular price, then what will we gain and or what will be loss is there. So we need to also consider this thing. And the impact of price on other parties, at the same time we are also required to think about that if whatever price we can increase or decrease, what will be the impact of that to the other parties. It means that to the other stakeholders, particularly we can say distributors, wholesalers, retailers, that will be affected because of our price what we have set at the time of setting the price. So here particularly 6 steps of pricing, setting price is over. I think all of you have got it. Thank you all.